to My Black is Transnational. My name is Dr. Kalechi Bay Lamberts. And yes, here we are for another episode. And what you just heard is a preview of my homegirl, Titi LoKei, rising superstar boss babe Nigerian artist who will be joining us today as our guest. So we'll be interviewing her and we'll be talking about the Afrobeats movement and what that's doing right now as far as bringing the black culture together. First and foremost, let's kind of go through our formalities. So if this is your first time listening to My Black is Transnational, please rate, subscribe, and review the podcast. We'd really love to hear what you have to say about the show. We're available on all platforms, about 10 platforms actually. So wherever your favorite podcast listening app is, we're probably there. So check us out, Spotify, iTunes, Google, whichever one you want to use. Okay, so yes, you can also email us at blacktransnational17@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at blacktransnational_. We'd love to hear your feedback. Please send an email. Or if you're listening to this on the Anchor app, you can also use the voice message feedback. You can use that to send the feedback. I apologize. But all right. So back to the proceedings. We'll be having our guest, Titi LoKei. It's a very, very fun interview between her and me. And we really talk about all the different types of artists and musicians that are present now in the music industry, specifically in the Afrobeats world, and how it translates into the hip hop culture and what Afrobeats is particularly doing right now for the black community overall. Is it a potential bridge for both populations? Is it something that we can use to help bring us together as far as music and dance? So we have a little bit of fun just talking about those different types of things. Really hope you enjoy the content. Looking forward to your feedback. And without any further ado, let's get it. Titi LoKei. Welcome to My Black is Transnational, and today we got on a special guest, really up-and-coming star when it comes to the Afrobeats movement, Nigerian queen Titi LoKei, who is a versatile artist, you know, a dancer, rapper, and now new record label starter, NINAA, right?
Yep, Nina Records.
There you go, Nina Records.
No is never an answer.
No is never an answer. That's deep. Shout out to this power in you, right? So, yes. What's up, sis, man? Thanks for joining the show. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well and blessed, and we're just honored to have you up here. Shining Star, new single out, right? And we're gonna, we played that earlier already in the intro, so it'll be, we're going to make sure we shout you out because we want to see you shine.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay. And, another thing, before we start the conversation, just wanted to let you know exactly that we really just appreciate your transnationalism here. And I think, what you have to say is really going to have some weight and some power. So first and foremost, if you want to just take an opportunity to just introduce yourself to our listeners.
Okay. Titi LoKei, Afrobeat artist as well as hip-hop artist. I rap, dance, I do singing small. And I've been doing this forever. I actually started off dancing a long time ago, and then I got tired of being in the background, so I started writing. And then from writing, I started recording, and then just went from there. And my love from Afrobeat came from when I went to Nigeria as an adult, back in 2005, and from there it just continued. I just fell in love.
That's awesome. And I was just gonna ask you what your inspiration was, and I know you have these strong connections back to Nigeria, these transnational connections that we would say on the show. So what specifically inspired you as an adult in Nigeria to just really take on this endeavor of becoming a up and coming star in the Afrobeats world?
To be honest with you, so I have been doing music for so long before I went in 2005, but when I went, before you go, so I used to go as a child, like 1 year old, 2 years old, so I didn't remember much.
Right.
So I just know growing up in America, you would hear all the stories from my mom and my aunts and stuff about the armed robbers, and they just painted Nigeria in this such a scary way. Like, you have to be careful, you can't do this, can't eat people's food, they might poison you, and so it's like, you hear all those stories, about the everything. So I was so scared to go as an adult in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went, it was literally the opposite of those stories. I had such an amazing time that I did not think I was going to have. I was in Abuja and I was in Lagos.
Right.
And when I went to the parties, you know, they just party on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And just the music and just the happiness, like the vibe, like everything, it just shocked me. To me, it was just intense because it was so opposite of those stories. Like, you know, I didn't have no fear in me while I was there. Yeah. And the music, I think during that time, P Square was popping.
Yep.
And like everybody was just live. And I think my sister, I went because my sister was working there with the CDC at that time. So we went to go visit her, and she would just always send me back with CDs. You know, every time she comes to the state, she'll bring me CDs, and I would listen to it. And I just fell in love, and I think it's the dancer in me too. Because, you know, Nigerians, we love to dance.
Yes, dance, not dance,
and a lot
but
of our
dance.
Exactly. And a lot of the Afrobeat, that's what it does. It makes you want to dance. So I think that was another part of it that just, you know, clicked like, okay, I got to, you know, start showing more appreciation and, you know, see how I can blend the two and make it work. And that's what I started doing.
Yeah. And I mean, and you talk about blending the two, right? So you used to do the hip hop thing. Now, when do you think, in your opinion, when you think, Afrobeats really took off? Because to me, I thought that Afrobeats really started taking off in that late 2000s, and it just exploded by the time it hit 2010. But in your opinion, when do you think Afrobeats really became a thing?
I agree. So I think it started, okay, so it didn't start merging really to the States until maybe about 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
But I believe it became a thing amongst Nigerians in the States really probably around the time you said, maybe around 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when it kind of really blew up with D'banj, with P Square, with MI.
Mm-hmm.
I would say around that time. That's like good timing.
Yeah, it was Prince, you know, then the Mavens came out. You had D'banj, right? You had him and... Yeah. I mean, shoot, I even count Blink. You know, our boy Blink too. He came up too, right? So yeah, I thought the Afrobeats took off. Now, what do you think Afrobeats has done for Black culture so far?
Oh man, I am so excited. Like, I'm so happy you asked that because I'm so excited about what Afrobeat is doing in the culture here in the States. Because I feel like we've been trying to break into the States for a while. Mm-hmm. And I know Two-Face, he kind of kicked it off with I'm an African queen. Right. That was like playing everywhere a little bit, but it wasn't like on the radio, you know what I mean? So the fact that Davido's on the radio right now in the States, the fact that IOJ was on the radio in the States, T.Y. Savage has been on the radio in the States, like the fact that they announced the African category. What awards was it?
Was it BET Awards? Yeah, BET Awards.
Yeah, BET Awards on film, because we had that category for a few years.
Yeah.
Maybe about 4 years ago.
Yep.
4 or 5 years ago. So the fact that they announced it like live this time, like I can tell it's emerging, and I think it's helping our culture so much because now it's like, you know, African Americans here, they're more interested in knowing more about the Nigerian culture now just because of the music. Because they see how Nigerians turn up at the party, so now they're learning our dance moves. They're wanting to listen to more music, and because of that, they want to know more about the culture, which makes them want to now travel to Nigeria and see it for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like it's helping a lot. It's helping bridge that gap between America and Nigeria. Okay. The music is.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that because I was just about to ask you, do you think the Afrobeats culture is part of hip-hop culture, or are they still two different things?
Okay, so with that, so I don't think it's a part of it yet. I still think it's two different things. Okay. But I do believe we are getting there because of all the collaborations that are taking place. And because of all the little video clips we see on Instagram, like we just saw Instagram at the Grammy Awards at Jay-Z's Rock Nation brunch, where you see Meek Mill, you see Kevin Hart, you see all of them dancing to whose song were they dancing to? Techno's, I think. so you see them dancing to that on the clip. So, you know, they have millions of followers and they see them dancing to Afrobeat music. So it's not together yet, but because of all the collaboration, like Sierra did something with techno. I think Ty Dolla $ign did something with a few people. Omarion did something with Tiwa Savage. So because of those collaborations, I feel like it's gonna soon be a part of hip hop, but it's not yet. We don't hear that on a radio enough for it to be a part of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And on the flip side, we got to get Nigeria to be more appreciative of hip hop from our own people. And the reason why I say that is because I know it's been difficult for me to just straight rap when I'm in Nigeria. And I don't know why, because on the flip side, they listen to Migos, they listen to Nicki Minaj, they listen to Meek Mill.
Right.
But I feel like when it comes from a Nigerian artist, they don't like to hear rap as much. I don't know why.
You took the words out of my mouth. It's like you're literally reading my mind, because I was going to just mention that, you know, it goes one way. It seems like a one-way street right now, but there is no sense of appreciation of the hip hop rap culture or even R&B culture from us, you know, West Africans, Nigerians, you know, Ghanaians. There don't seem to be that much of an appreciation for what African Americans are doing here with the hip hop culture. They'll consume it from them, but they don't like us dabbling in it. And I'm trying to figure out why that is. Is that looked upon downwards? Is this one of those things where you're acting like an Akata and that's not who you are? Like where's the line? I'm trying to figure that out.
You know what? I think it's two things. I think it's one, what you just said, where it's like, you're just, you know, you're acting too Americana. Just like, I struggled with that when I first started knowing Afro, because it's either, you know, my accent's so strong, so it's either you sound too American, or, you know, you're trying too hard. It was like, I couldn't find that balance that they would appreciate. But I also think the other reason is nobody has, well, I ain't gonna say nobody. I feel like it's not in their face enough. You know how you hear artists that you don't really like, but you know, you see them so often and you hear their songs so often, so then you just start liking their music.
Right.
I think that it's not in their face enough. Like we had MI, we had Ice Prince, they had a moment and stuff. They're still doing their thing. But I think if we had more MIs, more Ice Prince, and enough people like shoving it down their throat, and you know, with Alami Day and stuff like that, then I think that maybe they'll start appreciating it a little more. Maybe. At least that's my goal, because there's not too many female rappers at all in Nigeria. So I feel like I'm about to put my all into whatever I have to do to make them appreciate the hip hop on that side.
There aren't any female rappers in the Nigerian industry so far, and you seem to be, if not one of the few. Who else is out there? Because I mean, people don't consider Tiwa Savage and, you know, Shay. They're not rappers. You know what I'm saying? So who else is out there? I mean,
in this moment right now, nobody. There was a moment where we had like Sasha. We had oh my God, what's her name? Eva. We had it was another girl, Mochetta. So there was a moment where there were female rappers, but there right now. Nah, I'm about to be the only one right now. Like, I'm about to save the game. At least that's my goal. That is my mission this year.
I love that energy.
I am about to save the game. And I pray just with God's grace that I can make that happen. But it's been difficult on that side. But I feel like here with hip-hop, we appreciate that new sound that Afrobeat is bringing. That's a new element. You know what I mean? So we just, like you said, it's a one-way street right now.
So what are the challenges that you face right now as a female rapper in the industry? What are some of the challenges that make it really difficult for you? Because I think you're about to break some new grounds and enter uncharted territory and really be that leading pioneer. God willing, it's gonna happen, right? We're gonna claim it right now on the show, right?
Yes, we're gonna claim it.
You know, so what are some of the challenges, if you'd like to share with us?
Oh man, when I tell you, first being a female first is a challenge. It's extremely, and that's just everywhere. I feel like because the industry on both sides is so male dominant, and some men do kind of take advantage of that, and I feel like a lot of men try to get favors in order for you to get promoted. And I've never been that girl, so it's a real challenge for me. And I'm a very blunt person, and I think some people don't like that because I will say no in a heartbeat, and I will make it known how I feel about it. So I think that that's been like my number one challenge is getting past that. But the second challenge is just, you know, nowadays everything is social media, so you kind of have to have a following and all of that in order to break in. So I think another challenge has been just gaining that popularity. But that comes from me just not having a team and not having a separate label, which is kind of why I started my own label. Because it was just getting difficult. Just that's my number one challenge, is having to deal with some of the men in the industry when it comes to that, which is kind of sad, but it's real. Like that whole little Me Too movement it is real. It is really real out here in the streets. So yeah, that's some of my challenge. But I'm getting past it. That's why I started my own label. And the main reason why is just no is never an answer. You should never take no for an answer ever in life, with whatever it is that you want to do. If God gives you a passion, you have to pursue it. You know, God has his reasons for it. So I really think that, you know, my goal is to be at the top of my game, and I can help the next person and focus on their talent and not, you know, favors or popularity.
That's
you know
big
what I mean?
facts. That's big facts.
Oh, yeah.
And I need one of those shirts whenever y'all come out with merchandise for the record label. Like I want one of those G Unit tanks type of thing. Whenever you whenever you come out with the Nina brand, just let me know so I can get one of those tanks ready on deck.
I got you.
but you know, you touched on something as far as the challenges, and in my mind, because I know the background as far as what it's like to be brought up in a Nigerian household, and I wonder, one of the things that I think we're slowly moving from it as far as other types of creatives, but I always worry about how our parents feel when we get into things other than science, engineering, right? Anything that can be of these professions. And I know, you know, as a second generation transnational, with your parents probably bringing you up and as a Nigerian, you've been told your whole life you're a Nigerian. You don't even have to let us know. I already know what's up. But what was it like when you introduced your passion to your family, your parents? How did they respond?
Oh my God, it was rough. It was very, very rough at first. So I didn't even want to go to college at one point because I was just so into dance and music. Like, that's all I wanted to do, but I still went to school. I mean, by force, really. I had to go to school. So I did that, and after I got my degree, I just remember coming back home, and it was still an issue, like me going to the studio, you know, me having these late shows, because, you know, music is usually late at night. It was still an issue, and I'm just like, I gave you the degree. I mean, I'm working. What else do you want? Or like, what else do you want? I don't get it. So it really got to a point where I had to leave home. I left home for like a month, and I was like, I'm gone. Like, I can't do it. Like, if you don't want to support me, then I'm going to go do my own thing.
Right.
And so eventually I came back, of course, because, you know, I got to eat. I miss my jollof fries and all of that. So, but when I came back, surprisingly, you know, my mom had to do all her prayers. She was talking to the Lord. And thank God for revealing to her. She's the one who actually told me. I've been praying, and God told me if you have a passion that you must pursue it. So it was her word that actually stuck with me when she said that. That, you know, this is a passion of mine. I've been wanting to do this literally my whole life since I was a little kid. I've always wanted to be one of those people on TV, and I'm never fully happy if I'm not doing music. So it was when she said that, then she finally started supporting it. But on top of that, of course, when her friends see my videos and stuff on Facebook and my shows and everything I'm doing, and they reach out to her on WhatsApp like, is that your daughter I'm seeing? So I think during the Bust My Brain days when that song blew up, that she really started supporting because she saw everybody else was supporting, you know.
Bust My Brain is still my jam. I still got that on the playlist right now on my MP3 playlist. I still got Bust My Brain on there. It's one of the jams. That and of course I just gave a shout out to Blink, but that and Super Duper by Blink is still one of my all-time favorite jams.
Hey, that's my song.
Man, Blink put it down like magic. That's still in my jam. Speaking of explosive songs, man. When we talking about the songs that took off, a song that just kind of that I thought also was a bridge of the gap, or at least introduced Afro beats, was Oju Elegba by Wizkid, because that was the song that I think that I was like, oh, like people actually rocking with it, because I remember seeing like Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats like playing that on Instagram, and like other people started playing that song, and I was like, oh, like now you want to rock with us, right? Because
exactly,
it felt like at least by mid 2010, I don't know if maybe you can follow me on this timeline, but once the Azonto movement started,
oh yes,
the Azonto took off. The Azonto movement took off. Shout out to my Ghanaian people, man. The Azonto movement took off. And people went crazy.
Yes, it did. That, you know what? That was it. That and Oliver Twist.
Yes. And Oliver Twist.
Those are the two songs that, that Azonto movement. Yes, because I actually remember coming back to U of I, and I think ACA had a party. And I seen, like, African Americans doing it. I'm like, oh, okay, I noticed this. What's going on?
Yep. Once the Azonto came, it was like, okay, what y'all got next? Right? And then everybody came, and then the Shoki movement, like Nigerians came back and was like, oh, okay, y'all got the Azonto, we're about to throw the Shoki movement at you. And once the Shoki came, I don't know if you remember, Missy Elliott low-key bust out the move in one of her videos. Everybody was like, what? Who's this? Where'd they get this from, right? And I just think that the dance, right, going back, especially because of the dancing kind of brought the music to the scene.
Absolutely.
Man, so
absolutely, I 100% agree. It's the dance.
So now with these collaborations, what do you think is the future of this music?
Oh man, I think we're going to have a reggae moment. So you remember when Sean Paul had like a whole season of just everybody was playing reggae music, everybody was doing the dances, it was on all. I feel like it's going to get to that point and even bigger. I absolutely think we're going to have way more Afrobeat songs on the radio in full rotation. We're going to see it in more movies. We're already seeing it in movies and TV shows, but we're going to see it in more movies, more TV shows. It's going to be a thing. Like, it's going to be, it's like, it's already there. I say in the next 2 years, we're going to see it blow up on a whole nother level.
In the next 2 years.
Because the industry people, they know. All the people in the music industry here, they're already familiar. They're on game now. So now it's just about getting the DJs to continue to play it at the clubs. Because how we used to have like a little reggae moment. We still do at the club, at the party. Get the little reggae segment. Now we're having the Afrobeat segment too.
Yep.
So I shout out to the DJs because they really the ones that's helping with this movement.
Absolutely,
they're the number one important factor in this.
Absolutely, a big one. I mean, there are a couple of them, man. You have D Money, E Cool. Yeah. I mean, these guys have been kind of taking off. DJ Bonsu, all these dudes. Obviously, they've been doing, and obviously the ones in Nigeria too. DJ Exclusive. The other guy, who came up with the song with
Jimmy Dad.
Yeah.
Spinall.
Yep, Spinall is the one I was thinking about. Because another guy who. Well, I'm gonna ask you, Fred, before I put my opinion. Who do you think is on the rise outside of yourself? Right? Who else in the industry right now do you think is on the rise? I mean, we have the Wizkid, the Davido, they're already up there, but who else do you think is on the rise in Afrobeats?
What's her name? Tenny?
Yep.
She is really dope. I mean, I guess she's already risen, huh?
She's there, but she's still escalating.
She's gonna be big. I can just see it. I see it. I hear it. She's gonna be even bigger. Let's see, in the States or in Nigeria?
Both. Someone's capable of blowing up in both worlds.
Oh man. Oh, that's hard. I mean, I don't want to be biased. I love SLV.
Be biased.
I love his music. Like, I listen to SLV album like every day. Dang, that's hard.
You know who I think?
So many. It's just so many. Bills.
Yes.
Bills. He's in Houston. He be super consistent. You got Mo Beats. You have. Oh my God! It's just so many people. And I feel bad because I don't say their name. They're going to be like, you didn't say my name? Lord.
now you just shout people out.
Oh, man. I don't know. It's too many.
All right, I'll give you one that I think, just off the top of my head. I think Burna Boy is, I don't know.
Well, he's already hot.
You think he's, I think, I'm talking about on both realms. Do you think Burna Boy is good on both ends?
You see the Shade Room done posted Burna Boy with that girl. He done took it to a neck. Just from that alone, he about to be big. They just posted him yesterday with the girl who sang the one that's with Quality Control.
Oh, okay. I know you're talking about. I don't know her name, but I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes, they just posted her with him.
Okay.
On the Shade Room.
Okay.
And so whoever didn't know Burna Boy, they know him now.
Okay.
And he was on some festival. I think he's going to be performing at Coachella or something.
Coachella?
He was complaining about you remember he was complaining about his name being small on a flyer. And I believe that flyer was for Coachella. If it wasn't Coachella, it was some other major festival that's coming up.
Hopefully it wasn't the Fire Festival. That'd be wild.
No, it wasn't Fire Festival. I think it's Coachella, because he was upset that his name was small, and so he made a whole little movement like, y'all gonna make my name big, do you know who I am, kind of thing. And it's gonna take more artists like that, because that was good what he said, because then they put more respect on Nigerian artist name.
That's facts. Now, okay, so then I'll take his name off the list then, because you just justified that if he's doing Coachella, he's
already
in the scene.
Up there.
Okay. What about Fowles?
Yeah.
Fowles the bad guy.
Okay, that's a good one. That's good, because he's not as big here.
No, he's not as big
so
here.
That's a good one.
And you know what? And what the reason I think Fowles might be decent as well is because Fowles, to me, is one of the guys that he actually sounds like he's rapping, right? He's probably the closest one who you can say is spitting. He spits in broken English, but he's spitting. I mean, Olamide is there too, of course, but he actually sounds like he actually gets into a flow. Like he starts flowing, and it's different from all the other male artists that I've seen. So I'm like, Fowles can actually have a breakthrough soon. I'm looking forward to it. He just came out with a really dope song called Johnny. That was really good, really deep. So he's one of those that is like, that I'm looking, I feel like it's on the rise and can probably blow up in both spaces very soon. And he's also just he's versatile. He does other things. He reminds me of like a Nigerian Donald Glover type of thing. You know what I'm talking about? So,
because I was about to say, I like the fact that he's like an activist at the same time. Like he's, he does it for the community and stuff like that. Like I like that.
Yeah. So okay, we'll change. I want to play a little game. I just want to kind of get this comparison thing with you. All right, let's try to see, because the industry of both sides pretty well. So would you agree? Okay. And I'm gonna do this just because this is kind of make my wife happy as well, but. Is Tiwa Savage the Beyonce of Nigerian music or no?
She is. Okay. And I say that confidently because, she is. The reason why I say that is because, there's no other... Okay. So you have Yemi.
Yeah. Yemi
you have... Lord, what's her name? I can picture her face right now. I cannot think of her name. But
Shay?
There are other things... Who?
Shay or Shay?
Oh, her too.
Okay.
But I think because Tiwa Savage is definitely on both ends right now.
Yeah.
She can do more in the States, but she's definitely on both ends right now. She's signed with Roc Nation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She has a distribution deal with Roc Nation.
What?
Yep, go on their page. They had introduced her on their page and everything. And so she's going to be even bigger than what she's already doing. But there's nobody else that's as big as her as far as touring, as far as just everything she's doing. She's definitely Beyonce. I don't really know who else I can compare her to.
And that's the reason why I was just like, I don't have any other point of reference. She's the only one that I can think of as well right now, for now. Yeah. So who would be the Jigga? Who would be the Jay-Z of Afrobeats right now?
To be honest, Jesus, see, we lacking. It used to be like M.I.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he's still rapping, but I know he's not as popular on both ends right now. So it might be, you think it's going to be Falls? To the bad guy? You think it might be him? Even I mean, I guess overall.
Well, I'm not even talking about like rap game. I'm just talking about popularity.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's just popularity. They don't have to rap. It could be singers.
Yeah.
Oh, Davido. And I mean, it's hard because I know everybody compare Davido and Wizkid, but I still say Davido because he's more in the streets. And as far as here, people really like Davido. Not to say they don't like Wizkid, but Davido has had a good 2 years. These last 2 years,
I've been strong.
From Money Follow Me to Assurance to what was the other song that's been playing everywhere? Like, he's had a solid 2 years of hit after hit.
That's true. And they've been touring heavy because
heavy. They just sold out the E2.
Yeah, they just put out E-Cool, exactly. E-Cool just came out with his couple of hits, man. They've been making moves.
No, I'm saying they sold out the E2 arena.
Oh, they sold out the E2 arena?
Yes, in London or whatever.
What?
Sold it out, bro. Do you know how legendary that is?
That is legendary. That's big.
Legendary. Sold out the E2 arena. That's the biggest freaking, sold it out.
That's powerful.
So I definitely have to say he is the Jay-Z right now. I mean, Wizkid right there too, but it's definitely Davido at this very moment.
Okay. So now what's the future for the Nigerian queen Titi LoKei?
Ah, man, hopefully I can, be that rising star in Nigeria. I really pray. Things have been going well, though, because when I dropped African Dance, I didn't think that I would get this much feedback, but I have gotten such amazing feedback already, and I haven't even dropped the video yet. So I really think that Nigeria is going to have their own rap queen. They're going to have their own Nicki Minaj, and I'm so excited to be that pioneer.
Okay.
That's really my focus. So, I have a few more singles lined up. I'm hoping to get some good collaborations, which will help, take it to the next level. And then hopefully I'll be doing some touring and a lot more shows this summer as well. So that's the focus, is just get the music out there, build the fan base, and see what happens.
See, man, as you do on the dance floor, as you do on the studio, on the stage, sis, you always bringing the heat. You always bringing the heat. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining the show. Wait, before I even let you go, I got to get one more in because you just kind of brought it up, so I got to charge it to you. You said Nicki Minaj, okay. You ain't say Cardi B. So, like, who you pick, Nicki or Cardi right now?
I purposely didn't say Cardi B, and I did it because, now, don't get me wrong, I would love to have a Cardi B year in Nigeria.
Oh, I was about to say, Cardi had the best 2018 ever.
Oh, yes. I would love to have a Cardi B year. That's what's going to happen. Like, this is my Cardi B year.
That's what's up.
This is my Cardi B year for sure. But I said Nicki Minaj because she has proven to be a long-term, consistent artist, who has a true passion, who writes all of her stuff. And I will more relate to her at this moment. I'm sure, in the future, once Cardi give me a few more years and, start writing home, so did I write?
Okay.
Name her next.
Okay. Well, we'll rock
but
with that.
I do appreciate, the records that, that Cardi is breaking and stuff. But on the flip side, sometimes I do look at it kind of sideways, but that's, I think, yeah, because she has admitted to not writing her stuff, so I'm just confused as to why it's like okay now, all of a sudden. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
But that's a whole nother topic for another. I got so much to say about that, but
See, that's just another reason for us to have you on the show another time. But in the meantime, again, African Dance is the single that's out. Nina Records is officially launched. Whatever we can do to support you over here on My Black is Transnational, please let us know. Looking forward to have you on the show again. Love the energy. You brought the heat, and you just made a dope episode for everybody to listen to. We really appreciate you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and let me know how I can support too.
I appreciate you. All right, you have a good one, sis.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Well, you know the music is where we're at. It's a fun episode with Titi LoKei. Special shout out to Titi LoKei for just being an amazing person and such an amazing interview. Just had a great time, a fun time. Looking forward to more hits and just her breaking the ground as far as being that first Nigerian Afrobeats female rapper. Sky's the limit, sis. More power to you. All right. Email us your feedback or your thoughts at blacktransnational17@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at blacktransnational_. If you're listening to this on the Anchor app, please leave a voice message. Love to hear what you think about it. Rate, subscribe, and review the show. All right, so we're going to sign off. We'll talk again soon. It's been a blast. My name is Dr. Kelechi Ibe Lambert. My black is transnational, and I hope by the end of this, yours will be too. Peace.